So the objective is to graph and write linear equations. You should remember how to do this from algebra, in case you don't. You'll see it every year. It takes 2 points to define a graph or a line. You know, we talked about that in chapter 1 when we had the, I had the mints, and we defined a plane, a line, and all that kind of stuff. So if you can find 2 points on a graph, there's exactly one line that goes through the 2 points. So to graph it, you need a slope and a y-intercept, because from a slope and a y-intercept, you can get 2 points. From a slope and a point, you can get 2 points, because you graph the point and then you use the slope to find your second point. Or if you're given 2 points, you can find the slope from 2 points and use one of the 2 points to graph the line. Anybody still writing? Okay. The slope, we use m to represent the slope. It's y sub 2 minus y sub 1, which is the change in y. The change in two numbers would be the difference, right? Over x sub 2 minus x sub 1, the change in x, also known as rise over run. The slope-intercept form of the equation of a line is y equals mx plus b. M is your slope. B is your y-intercept. B is just a number in the equation, but if you want to put it in point form, it would be 0b. So your y-intercept, this is the number on the y-axis that the line crosses. And that is at 0b. You want to put it in point form. Point slope form of the equation of a line, y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. You do have to have parentheses around the x minus x sub 1, or it's wrong. It would be a different line. M is the slope. Y sub 1 and x sub 1 would be the point that you plug in. Your x coordinate, your y coordinate. Yes. No. You can put them around the y's. It wouldn't affect it. So, but you have to put it around the x's because the slope is being multiplied. Whatever this number is being multiplied by everything inside. Not that we're going to multiply it, but if we do have to change the form of the equation, it would have to be multiplied. Because if you don't put the parentheses, it just looks like it's being multiplied by x, not x minus x sub 1. You have to have these formulas memorized. We'll not give them to you on a quiz, on anything. So you have to have them memorized. You have to understand what they are, how to use them. The slope-intercept form, it's in the name what you plug into it. You plug in a slope and you plug in the y-intercept. Point slope form. You plug in a point, you plug in the slope. Okay. So we're looking for the slope. We can use rise over run since we have a graph. To use rise over run, you want to draw a triangle from one point to the other. So we're looking for the slope of A. You draw a right triangle from one point to the other, or you go up so you get level with the other point and then go over. And then, so we went up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and over 1, 2, 3. Rise over run, we went up 6, We went over 3, rise over run, for a slope of 2. We use the slope formula. We would have to use the 2 points here. Doesn't matter which one is 0.1, which one is 0.2. It doesn't. So I'm going to put, I want this to be 0.1. So x sub 1, y sub 1, and this one to be 0.2. X sub 2, y sub 2. So that'd be y sub 2 is 3 minus y sub 1 is negative 3 over x sub 2 is 1 minus x sub 1 is negative 2. So that would be 3 minus negative 3 is 3 plus 3 is 6. 1 minus negative 2 is 1 plus 2 for 3. And the slope is 2. So I can get my slope either way.
Teacher, sorry for the interruptions. Please dismiss altar servers to go to the Abbey now. And please dismiss choir members at 10:45. Thank you.
Okay, what is the slope of line B? Can we form a triangle with that one? Can we go up and over or down and back? So if you have a horizontal or vertical line, you either have no slope or an undefined slope. So if you have a horizontal line, would that be a 0 slope or an undefined slope? 0. So the slope is 0 for B. What about for C? Undefined. I have a way to keep that separate so that we tend to get those two mixed up. Think about, do you know how to tell if a slope is positive or negative just looking at the line on the graph? Okay. You read a graph just like you read a book from left to right. And from left to right, if the line is going up, it's positive. If the line is going down, it's negative. If you have a horizontal line, it's 0, and if you have a vertical line, it's undefined. Here's a little something that might help. Positive, negative, 0, undefined. So let's pretend that you have a truck, a little truck, and you're going to place it on this line, and it's going to go just like you're reading from left to right. Would the truck go up or down on this one? It would go up, right? So it's positive. If you put it over here, you're reading the graph from left to right, it would go down, so it's negative. If you put the truck here on a horizontal line, what will it do? It would just sit there. It would idle. It would be at 0 slope. It wouldn't go up or down. It just sits there at 0 slope. So what about if you put a truck on this vertical line? What would happen if you let go of the truck? It'd fall. Because it doesn't have a slope. It's undefined. That's how I keep these two separate from each other. Because you could not actually even define a truck sitting on that line. Because if we talk about, or we think of it, the grade of a road. Do you know what that is? The grade? It's the slope of a road. And the grade of a road, it's important, especially you'll see signs if it's too steep for big trucks, maybe they can't get up the hill. So the slope really matters when you're designing roads. And you couldn't even define this slope, right? There's no way to define it. In this first line, it's slope-intercept form. the slope is 1/2. The y-intercept is -1. In point form, that would be 0, -1. So if you go to 0, -1, that's your first point. Go left or right 0, down 1. So you're at -1 on the y-axis. And from that point, we'll use the slope, which is rise over run, to find the second point. So we go up 1 over 2. From that point, up 1 over 2. Plot that point, and there's exactly one line that goes through these 2 points. Now, when you graph a line, look at your slope and make sure. If you have a positive slope, then that line needs to be going uphill, not downhill. So, sometimes you may go, let's see, down 1 over 2 by accident maybe. Well, then that's going to be a line going this way. And if you look to double check, if that's positive, it should be going uphill, then you know you did something wrong if it's going downhill. This next graph is in point slope form. Y minus y sub 1 is equal to m times x minus x sub 1. You have your slope, -1. You can put it in fractional form, put it over 1. And your point. Anytime you have a variable that it follows a negative, and you're trying to take that number out of that formula, you have to change the sign. So my point would have x, then y. So we'll take the x coordinate out. If it's -3, when you take it out, it becomes +3 because of the negative in the formula. And my y is, if it's +7 here and you take it out, it's -7. So you have to change the signs when you're taking numbers out of a formula that has negative in it. So I'm going to plot that point, 3, -7. 1, 2, 3, wait, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is 3, -7. From that point, I use slope, -1 over 1, that's rise over run. Well, if rise, normally you think you go up. Whenever it's negative, you're going to go in the opposite direction. So instead of going up, we're going down. So from this point, we go down 1, and then we run 1. I always put my negative with the numerator, and so the run part's always going to be in the positive direction. What is the equation in slope-intercept form of the line with a slope of 2 and y-intercept of 4? So pay attention to your directions or the question. So they give us the slope of 2 and the y-intercept of 4. They want it in the slope-intercept form. So that's easy if they give you the information you need to plug into it. So y is equal to 2x plus 4. Next one wants an equation in point slope form. What's the equation in point slope form of the line that passes through 3, -7 with the slope of -1? So you have the slope of -1 and a point of 3, -7. You're plugging it into point slope form. You need to write the formula every time you use it so you'll memorize it. So this is x sub 1, y sub 1. So that's y minus -7 is equal to, the slope is -1 times x minus a +3. Y sub 1, x sub 1 slope. Just plug into those three places. You'll want to simplify if you have negative times a negative here. That would be y plus 7 is equal to -1 times x minus 3. Normally we would just put a negative there instead of a -1, but we'll do that later. Right now we're just learning how to put it in that form. Normally you would leave a 1 somewhere that it's understood. So it would be y plus 7 equals negative, open parentheses, x minus 3. Something's messed up with my mouse. So we have to write an equation in point slope form for the line graphed. In order to put it in this form, I need a slope and a point. Well, the point's taken care of. I have 2 points, right? So I could use either one I want to. I'll just pick the first one I see. One on the left. With the slope, there are 2 ways I can find it. The easiest way would be rise over run. So from one point to the other, and I can even pick different points if I don't want to use the 2 that are over here. Make your triangle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. -9 because you go down from one point, and then you're going to the right, which is in the positive direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So rise is -9. Run is 6, which would give me -3/2. So that would be y minus y sub 1 is equal to m -3/2, open parentheses, x minus a -2 would be x plus 2. Go ahead and change that. So you might ask, what if I go from this point to this point and do this? So from here, remember it's rise over run, this would be 9. But I'm running in the negative direction, which is -6. Well, if I say rise over run is 9 over -6, that still reduces to -3/2. Same answer. You might say, what if I pick 2 points that are closer together? Like this point and this point. That's -3, this is 2. If the points are closer together, you will not have a fraction to reduce. What if you go on the other side? What if you go up 3, back 2? So it would still be -3/2. See how that works? Yes.
I think we're
Okay. Let me give you your assignment. I can get my mouse to work. Okay, last problem. What are the equations for the horizontal and vertical lines that go through point 1, 7? So first I'm going to graph that point. You don't have to. It doesn't tell you to graph this point in your book. It just wants to know the equations for the horizontal and vertical lines that goes through that point. So if I go to 1, 7, there's my point. If I put, so that's the point. It's not asking me for the equation of this point. There's not an equation of that point. We want to know the equation of a vertical line that goes to that point and an equation of a horizontal line that goes to that point. So the horizontal this will be the horizontal line. Does anybody know the equation of that line? Not the slope. And that's what I'm going to make sure you don't mix that up. We're not, it is 0. The slope is 0. But what's the equation?
Wait, which line is 0?
This is horizontal.
No, which line is 0?
This one.
Okay, so which one are we?
What is the equation of the line? Not what is the slope of the line.
I know.
Yes. Y equals 7. What about the vertical line? X equals what? 1.
It makes like orange.
Okay. Here's.
It's this way you think of doing X.
Hmm?
It's X.
So for a horizontal or vertical line, all of your horizontal lines will be y equals whatever number it goes through on the y-axis, which would be for this one 7. Your vertical line is x equals whatever it goes through on the x-axis, and in this case it's 1. So let's try another one. Let's try point -2, 3. We want to know the horizontal and vertical line, the equations of the lines, the equation of the horizontal line, the equation of the vertical line that goes to this point. X equals -2 is which one, the horizontal or vertical? Vertical.
Yeah.
And the horizontal? Y equals 3. Okay. So if I said this may be another way it's asked. Tell me the equation of that line. I'm not giving you a point on the line. What's the equation of that line?
X equals 4.
Okay. It's going through the x-axis. Yeah, it's going through at a perpendicularly the x-axis. Okay. What about this one?
X equals 0.
Yeah, it touches the y-axis, but it's all points on the y-axis, so it's x equals 0. What about this one?
Y equals 0.
Y equals 0. So you get it, right?
Yep.
Okay. So you're having to graph lines given the slope intercept form, given the point slope form. You're having to write equations given the graph or just given information. Any questions about any of it? Yes.
Just going to ask about the schedule for today.
Okay.